Melania Trump introduced the Be Best initiative in 2018, centering it on children's well-being, online safety, and the risks of harmful behavior on social media. Around the same time, critics had spent years arguing that Donald Trump's public communication style was often harsh, divisive, and confrontational.
LGBTQ citizens.
And he's got all this money and he's famous and still he's such a... I don't think he has two moral fibers to rub together. Also, love is like LGBT.
Gary's somewhat of a loser. She's lonely, she's unhappy.
He's not the greatest speaker in the world. He is so dangerous, and what he brings to my country, what he's awakened in my country, is bigotry and distrust and a certain kind of supremacy in certain groups, and he lies.
But Donald is no Cher fan. He's tweeted she should spend more time focusing on her family and dying career. When she tweets about him, she uses a toilet emoticon rather than Trump's name.
I think that if breaking news ever happened and he had to go to the podium, we would just all go. He just should not be he shouldn't be in control of the remote. Okay? Consummate liar, doesn't care who she hurts, insane and sociopathic narcissist. So anyway, I just wish he'd fall off the face of the earth. Someone who would bring down the country because he doesn't win does not deserve anything, deserves nothing. He deserves nothing. He does not deserve any kind of... But you just learned it.
LGBTQ.
So horrible and so mean and just, I don't know why he has no milk of human kindness in him, but I don't believe that you could just get a drop out of him. I could go on and on this subject forever. He wants to be the king, but he doesn't want to do the work. And I mean, I can't imagine it's like breaking news and President Trump comes up to the platform, to the podium and says, what? What could he possibly say? He doesn't know anything about anything. I'll call my friend Vladimir and he'll tell me what to do. Because Trump.
When those two public records are placed side by side, the contrast becomes more striking than any rumor ever could. Desi Lydic didn't need to criticize Melania personally, because the central point was already embedded within the First Lady's own campaign. Be Best encouraged young people to use social media responsibly, show kindness to others, and recognize the damage that harmful online behavior can cause. At the same time, Donald Trump had built much of his public persona by using social platforms to insult political opponents, ridicule critics, target journalists, and popularize memorable nicknames for his rivals. That contrast became the heart of Lydic's argument. Viewers may have expected another celebrity-style exchange, but instead, they were presented with a clear contradiction reflected through public statements and widely documented behavior. Melania consistently promoted civility and respectful communication online, while Trump's political style often moved in the opposite direction. Lydic wasn't suggesting that Melania secretly controlled her husband, or that some hidden controversy existed behind the scenes. Her point was far simpler. The First Lady's signature public message and the President's highly visible communication style had been heading in completely different directions for years. For many older viewers, the contradiction felt familiar. They had seen parents teach children the importance of good manners, while ignoring those same standards themselves. They had watched companies proudly display statements about workplace values, only to abandon those principles whenever authority or influence was on the line. A slogan loses much of its meaning when the people closest to it appear free to disregard it without consequence. Lydic kept returning to that central gap. She reminded the audience of Melania's repeated warnings that social media can become harmful when used irresponsibly. Then she contrasted those messages with Trump's well-documented public record. Judges described as corrupt, reporters labeled enemies, political opponents reduced to insults, women mocked in public, and television personalities singled out by name. There was no need for confidential documents or hidden evidence. The public record already contained the material. As the audience listened, the room became noticeably quieter. The issue wasn't whether Melania genuinely believed in Be Best. Publicly, she repeatedly expressed support for the initiative and continued promoting it despite criticism. The larger question was what that campaign revealed about the White House itself. How could a message centered on responsible online behavior fully resonate when the country's most powerful public official frequently relied on humiliation and personal attacks as political strategy? Leidig's strongest decision was refusing to turn the discussion into speculation about the Trump's private relationship. Instead, she kept the focus exactly where it belonged, on public actions and public messaging. Melania had chosen a nationally visible campaign built around kindness and responsibility. Trump had embraced a public communication style, defined by confrontation and ridicule. The audience didn't need access to private conversations behind closed doors. The contrast was already visible through their own public words and actions.